Welcome to the 60 Plus podcast.
I'm Janet.
And I'm Joe. How are you, Janet?
I'm good.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Or am I supposed to say I'm well?
You're
I'm
supposed to say
doing
I'm well. I
well.
was going to cut you some slack because last week you were a little sad, but
I know.
you're doing well today.
I am.
You're all smiles.
I am. And it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. So I'm feeling up.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. What are we talking about today?
We have a guest speaker. So excited about this one.
Is it Oprah Winfrey?
No, better.
Well, you were doing your Oprah imitation, so.
Yes, I was. We have Sue Benton joining us. And Sue is amazing, first of all, just an amazing all-around person. But she is an incredible dancer and choreographer and incredible photographer and gosh knows many, many other things.
Well, Sue and I have the dance in common then.
No.
It's not true. It's not true at all. I might be the worst dancer in the world.
I actually met Sue probably oh my goodness, maybe 25 years ago now.
Oh, wow.
It's just really scary to say.
Let me correct that. I might be the second worst dancer in the world.
So without further ado, let us introduce Sue Benton. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me, and thank you for such a nice introduction.
Yeah.
Really nice. And I can't believe, I know 25 years. It's like, I can't believe that.
Yeah, I know. It's a crazy number.
I know.
How long have you been dancing actually, Sue? Because I know I wasn't your first.
But I'll always think of you as my first. I actually started my business, I think it was in 1996 is when I started my business. But I was dancing. I danced in high school.
Yeah.
And, and then I danced every chance I got, but people in my family thought that dance was not any kind of thing that you should ever be serious about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it took me a long time to sort of legitimize it. So anyway, I think I started my business in 1996.
Wow, that's great.
It sounds like a long time ago.
Right.
Right.
Well, and it's just incredible how many people that you've touched with that. And today we really want to focus on, the benefits of that. And there's so many, especially for
Yeah.
people in our age group. I know when I first went to dance, I remember asking you, why do I feel so good? And you were like, well, it's designed to open up the chakras.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, but whatever it is, I love it. And I'm hooked, and I've been hooked ever since.
Well, you're a wonderful dancer yourself.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
That's thanks to you and everything that you've brought to so many of us. So, firsthand, I have witnessed the benefits, physical, mental, emotional, all that good stuff.
Yeah. People would say to me, this class has changed my life. I really thought about it because I know for me, it really is a form of therapy that I cannot do without.
Right.
It just made me realize that the difference is that when you're dancing, you really are moving from your core, right? You're doing a lot of opening and closing, and you're doing a lot. It's not just your arms. It's not just your legs. It's not just your arms. You're using your torso, and it's not just one piece, like from your collarbone, you know what I mean, to your pelvis. It's not that. It's like a bunch of pieces that you start to loosen up.
Unless you dance like Joe.
I was just going to say, now I know why I'm not a good dancer.
But you know what?
I get my elbows in it, and that's about it.
It doesn't matter what it looks like. It just matters what it feels like. That's what I used to say to people all the time, because really and also in a class, people get because it's such a personal thing.
Right.
Because it's expressive and people get very weirded out and there's and their body issues come to the forefront. But what it really is like, if you're in a class, it's like parallel play. No one is looking at you.
Right. That's right.
Literally no one.
Right.
And so.
Oh, you haven't seen me dance, so everyone's looking.
It kind of reminds me of that Seinfeld episode with Elaine.
Yeah. Elaine. Yeah.
But yeah, it's true. You can't.
Yeah.
I
It's
think she's a good
impossible.
dancer
Yeah,
because she's a better dancer than me.
right. It's impossible, being, behind the line, if you will. It's impossible to look at anybody else, but if you're following your choreography, you have to pay attention.
Yeah.
And maybe once in a while you catch yourself in the mirror, but you're certainly not looking at anybody else. That's for sure.
It's safer than people think emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because it really is a chance to move. Like, and I even realized during COVID when we were
Mm-hmm.
all stuck inside, and even when I would take a weight class, I just felt better.
Yeah.
I just felt better moving. I mean, you could drag yourself to the computer, right?
Right.
And you're
Right.
still in your pajamas, right?
Yeah.
And you're, looking forward to the day you're going to be in your pajamas all day, right? And it was just depressing. I really do think it's a form of therapy. And I know for me too, if I get really upset about something or panicked about something, I kind of leave my body. I don't know if you've ever had that
Right.
experience
Yeah.
where it's like I can't think, I don't know what to say, what is going on here. And
Right.
I feel like dance and other things too puts me in my body,
Right.
which is a better place to be.
Yeah, definitely.
You
And
know?
yeah, and
Yeah,
listening to your body and feeling what you need to feel, right? And also
exactly.
letting go of some
Oh,
of this stuff. What's interesting is the research is catching up with what we
I
sort of intuitively know. They're finding that, yes, there's a lot of physical benefits, right? Burn calories, cardiovascular health, whatever,
yeah,
balance, strength.
yeah,
Strengthening bones, which is really critical for our age group, right? To
yeah,
fend off osteoporosis. All
yeah.
that's good, but what's really amazing is some of the research that even fairly recently has come out, and they show that dance was the number one thing to reduce depression.
I know. Wasn't that amazing
Ah, I,
to see that? I mean,
incredible.
yeah, and even they were saying in some cases it's better than SSRIs,
Yeah, I was actually looking at
Yeah.
the data and it was significantly better. Walking or jogging was the next most beneficial thing.
Yeah.
Then cognitive behavior therapy,
Right.
along with yoga, was equivalent to
Isn't
that.
that
Yeah.
it's crazy, right?
Yeah, it was really, really, the data is incredible. And this was not just one study. This was a culmination of like 218 studies with
Yeah.
14,000 participants. This is research that's been going on for a while, with a
Yeah.
proper control group and whatnot. So it's
Yeah.
very compelling.
I'm
It
looking at
really,
WebMD
Yeah.
right now.
uh-huh.
Benefits are an improved self-esteem.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's why I'm not a good dancer. I just don't need any better self. I just have a very high self-esteem.
Well, lucky you.
Uh-huh.
Well, that's a good thing. At least I have to say that about myself. Yeah.
It helps you meet new people.
Yeah. Yeah, there's
Okay.
a social aspect to it. Yeah.
It improves your mood and attitude.
Mm-hmm.
Eases depression and anxiety,
Yeah.
according to WebMD. So this coincides with what you were saying, Janet.
Right.
And protects memory. Protects your
Yeah.
memory.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Right.
the other thing.
That's
Yeah.
a surprise to me.
Yeah. Brain health.
And I'm just saying this from experience. And I like to say to myself, it's very good to prevent dementia when I forget what day of the week it is. I think, okay, but you're dancing, right? Right. But I think part of it is that the music is processed in a part of your brain, and then the direction, like spatial stuff,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like how close you are to somebody,
Right.
and also just remembering steps,
Right. Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
and putting it to the music, because music itself, you've probably seen where sometimes they take Alzheimer's patients and they play music, you know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? And that sort of activates a part of their brain that they haven't been able to access.
Right.
Of course, I'm just talking here, and I could be, I can't like cite any studies or
Right.
anything, but I remember seeing that somewhere.
Very
It's
compelling.
amazing. We're
Yeah.
so lucky that we can do it. And Joe, you could do ballroom, and if you get a strong person to dance with you, they can put you in the right place. Because that's what my dad used to do.
The
My
right
dad was
place
like
for
this
me is
amazing.
along the wall, as far from the dance floor as possible.
I don't believe that. I don't
No,
believe that.
no, it's like
Yeah.
everybody can dance, right? That's
Yeah,
another
it's
thing, you know?
true.
You want to know when I dance? I do dance.
Yeah,
Oh,
I dance when I cook.
yeah,
I
ah.
dance around the kitchen when no one's there,
right.
and hopefully my neighbors can't see in my window. But that's I find myself dancing because cooking is something that I am pretty good at.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
that's
I can
good.
attest to that. But,
Yeah,
dancing at home is a great way to start, you
it
know,
is.
right? And just learning how your body
It
wants
is.
to move and feeling that
Exactly.
music, and it's going to release endorphins, it's going to release dopamine. So it's going to make you feel happy no matter what, whether you're dancing
Yeah.
really well or not, it doesn't matter. But, I have read stuff about this whole brain health situation where when you have to think and move at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
those
Yeah.
activities are good for the brain. So whether that's dance or say pickleball, ping pong, whatever,
Yeah.
it's all good stuff. You're
Yeah.
thinking and moving at the same time. So,
That's very cool. I like that.
mhm.
Yeah.
It's interesting. The National Institutes of Health has a paper, The Physiological and Psychological Benefits of Dance and Its Effects on Children and Adolescents.
Yeah.
So we're
Ah,
talking about 60 plus people, but it benefits everybody.
And that's the beauty of it. It's going to have a positive effect no matter who you are, and what's
that's
your
it. Yeah.
situation.
So, Sue, if
It-
you're home by yourself and do you dance like in the kitchen like I do, or just,
I do because if I find, I mean, music is a mood elevator too, right?
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
mean, if you have a song that makes you happy, and then I always think, I'm just going to try to put this in my class. you
Right.
know, it just makes you happy to hear your favorite song and then to do some movement to it.
Right. And you're always thinking of choreography, right? It's coming to you.
Yeah, I mean, I know you teach a dance class too, but I listened to it like 1,000 times,
Mhm.
and then it just things start to come to you. Is that how it happens to you with you too?
Yeah, except I probably
Yeah.
don't listen to it 1,000 times because I'm not
Yeah.
as professional as you are. So I
Oh, I
just,
don't think that's it. I think it's just that sometimes you just have to hear it and hear it and hear it before you hear the sort of the
yeah.
patterns in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I noticed I've
Yeah.
been like sort of changing it too on the fly, or like this isn't
Yeah.
working. How let's try this. And then it sometimes comes together,
Yeah.
but it's a
Yeah.
lot of fun. It is.
It is really fun. And I mean, it really is. I mean, seriously, I feel like, and I'm not alone in this. I mean, this kind of people that we've danced with, it's been decades that
Right.
we've danced with them. So where people are going through divorces, they're going through difficulties with their children, they're going through, being fired or what,
Right.
you know what I mean? Just it's really to be able to go to a place and dance with people that without feeling like you're being judged.
Right.
There's just something I think so healing about that. And I also think it's very bonding when you're
Yes.
dancing with people. You don't even know who the person is, like what they do. They could be a brain surgeon. You
Right.
have no idea, right? And you're just talking the way you talk to everybody. And,
Yes.
it's a great equalizer in a
Yeah,
way.
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. You come into that room. I always used to say, how bad can they be? They're a dancer, like
Right. There must be something very good about you. Yeah. Oh, you know what else I wanted to say, just because this always really struck me. And I think that this is what happens, especially if you didn't dance from high school, you only dance at weddings. Moshe Feldenkrais,
Mhm.
his quote that I love is, you can't change your mind without changing your body, and you can't change your body without changing your mind. And I
Mhm.
think that's very true.
Yeah.
Once you start doing something new, I think that things start firing in your brain that maybe never fired before, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
definitely I definitely agree with that wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
It's like it gets you out of yourself. I think that's the beauty of things like travel too. It gives you a whole
Yeah.
new perspective. It does, like you say, fires different parts of the brain
Right.
and elevates your thinking and gets you sort of out of your head.
Well,
So,
and that's always good too.
oh
Be
yeah,
in your body, not in your head.
exactly. I take this one step further because I was just recently came across Somebody had sent me a podcast with 10% Happier, and it was
Yes.
with a gentleman by the name of Dr. Bruce Perry, who's a neurobiologist, and
Yeah.
he was studying trauma and the benefits of things like dance on trauma, where you're sort of doing a routine, maybe ritualistic type of therapy in a way
Yeah.
that he's found has, had amazing effects on people with big T trauma and, just sort of your
Oh.
everyday like stressors.
Seeing Joe
So,
dance trauma.
yeah. He's actually kind of wiggling in his chair right now. I don't know. I think he's trying.
I call it chair dancing.
Yes. But that's fascinating that it's good for trauma too, because really, when I mean, I don't think that the mind and the body are really the same. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
We say there's a connection, but we can forget there's a connection. But I think I mean, when you look at even just things like stress can
Right.
cause so many physical ailments.
Yeah.
I find that thing about the trauma I hadn't really heard before. So I love that.
Yeah, no. And he was actually saying that we need to, because here's this neurobiologist, he's doing these amazing, complicated studies that you couldn't
Right.
get your head around. And he's like, we
Right.
have to simplify this stuff so that, people understand, the
Yeah.
connection, as you say, like that
Yeah.
I can help myself, in
Right.
these ways that are actually really accessible.
Right. And you don't have to leave your body out of it.
Right.
You
Right.
know, it's just as much a part of your emotional life and your mental life as everything else, you
Right.
know?
It's really surprising to me. I've come across another article in the
Mhm.
National Institutes of Health. It's a paper uplifted by dancing community from physical activity to well-being. The quote that really struck me, and this is quoted directly from the paper, dance therapy is often and successfully applied in the sphere of depression-related disorders, which are becoming a global problem. It is especially true about people of 60 to 80 years of age.
Oh, wow. Bingo right there.
Really? Yeah, there
Such
we are.
such therapy also prevents stress and helps to reduce anxiety.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, this isn't just like people who like to dance saying, "Oh, dance is good for you."
So, Joe, is this going to make you explore some dance classes?
No,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can come to my class.
I could. I
Yeah.
could. Here's the problem.
What?
I am a little self-conscious about my dancing.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
thing. I think that's the hardest thing to get over sometimes. But
Mhm.
I
like,
think so too.
yeah, I
Yeah.
can remember the first time I was totally lost and I'm like laughing at myself and feeling so like probably turning bright red. And I'm like, am I going to come back and do this again? But you were so welcoming. So, and what you provided everybody a safe place to have those moments and overcome them. And I think that was a huge confidence builder for so many women. Gosh, like when somebody coming up to you and say, you changed my life, like that's like incredibly powerful.
And I don't remember you really ever stumbling around, but maybe you thought you were. But
Right.
yeah, nobody else thought that, I'm sure.
Well, it gets to a good point because I think the environment has to be the right environment.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you where I didn't feel self-conscious and I danced somewhat recently was at my daughter's wedding.
There you go.
I danced
Oh,
with my daughter, the bride, and I danced with my younger daughter as well. And I was having a
that's
great
nice.
time.
Yeah.
But it was
Yeah.
one of those situations where I didn't really care.
Right.
Right.
It was just the right environment, the right event, the right,
And the right amount of alcohol.
probably, although I didn't over imbibe.
No, no.
But it was fun. And it struck me, my daughter gave me two pictures from the wedding, one of me walking her down the aisle and another of me dancing with her, the father and daughter dance. And my head is thrown back and I'm laughing hysterically. I don't know what
Ah,
was going on.
that sounds
But
wonderful. And they'll remember that forever. I mean, that's such a lovely memory.
and my daughter's not a very good dancer either, so.
So there's your starting place, Joe. Like remember all the how you felt and you
Mhm.
can carry that forward onto the
To
next.
when my younger daughter gets married
Right?
someday.
Yeah.
Well, we're not here to talk you into it, but if you ever did want to get started, it's not hard, Sue, is it? I mean,
It really isn't. It's just finding the right place, like even just going with a friend. You can be attracted to a certain place because you see all the people that are there and how friendly they are. You know
hmm
what I mean? And,
right.
and you know, some places are more serious.
Yeah.
We're not serious.
No.
It's like, come to the party,
Right.
right?
Well, and that's
Yeah.
true of things like yoga studios too. There's some
Yeah.
like yoga studios that are just like whatever, it's like light and
Right.
breezy and it's all
Yeah.
about the spiritual aspects. And then there's
Yeah.
other like Bikrams, like, oh my God, these
Put
people
your
are
put your
hardcore.
foot behind your head and hop
I don't
on
go to
me.
yoga studios where people are wearing makeup. That's like my rule.
Yeah. Oh God, that's so funny.
Yeah, yeah. So, and there's like for our age group, there's the Ys, the
Right.
YMCA's, it's senior centers. They always
Right.
have, classes
Right.
and or just dance at home and find a YouTube video.
That's a
Um,
thing too. There's a ton of stuff on YouTube. Like
mhm.
sometimes if I find a song I like, I'll go on YouTube, and there's always like a lot of places to look. You know what I mean? To see what people are doing and see if anything speaks to you. It's just nice.
Yeah.
It's a
So,
good place.
yeah, it's a great place to get started and
Yeah.
turn on that music and just go to town and there's all those
Exactly.
physical benefits too, right?
So, Sue, what
Mhm.
kind of dance do you teach?
Mm.
All kinds. Some Latin. I use a lot of pop music. I use some like old rock and roll because I'm old, and I do, okay, it's not really hip hop. It's like fake old lady hip hop. It's sort of, right? I do that too. So,
I didn't know
you
Betty
know,
White was a hip hop artist.
yeah.
We're not that old. Watch it there, kiddo.
It's all different. There's a lot of varieties of music that you can use.
And you take requests.
I do take requests. Yes.
All right. Well, I think you might have convinced me that I'm not going to take a dance class, but I might dance a little bit more than I have in the past.
Yeah, every
Okay.
day.
Uh,
Every day.
Okay.
you might have convinced me to get outside my comfort zone a little bit.
Good, good. We got
Yeah.
one, Sue. We got one.
And that's a gateway drug, right? Is doing it in the kitchen. Doing it in the kitchen,
Yeah.
right? You just never know what's going to happen after that.
Mhm,
Yep,
mhm.
yep. And at least you'll have a good meal and to eat
Right.
afterwards.
It's been so much fun talking with you, Sue, about the benefits of
Aw.
dance.
Yeah, it's
Well,
been great.
well, thank you. It's really fun because a lot of times, you don't get to talk about it really. You know what I mean? So
Right.
it's been really fun for me
Yeah,
too.
because
Thank
you're
you.
always busy doing it. So
Right.
why
But thank
talk
you for
about it when you
inviting
can do it? Yeah. So, well, it's been great. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much. Really. Thank you for all the kind words and thank you for asking me to do this. It was really fun.
Yeah, good. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
All right, that's going to do it for this week's episode of the 60 Plus podcast. Until next week, I'm Joe.
I'm Janet. Bye.